get ready. We are going to the plane, and we're bringing back the duo that you love them. You've missed them. It's Pansy and it's Sims.
Yeah, I received a call. The break wasn't being flamed enough. The people weren't being, memed out on enough. And, even the teams picked up where I left off. The SMGs were out. We've been having fun. But it is time to get a bit more serious. This is the kind of finals, right, Rich? We're leading in towards it. This is where you've got to really kind of tighten everything up. And obviously, I didn't get to see too much of that previous stage. Now, one thing I love to hear, DA are kind of nutty right now. Like, that makes me ridiculously happy.
They are. I mean, the addition of Code Marker has been phenomenal. It's done so much for this roster. We've always known there's been potential within that. It started off a few years back where the memes unfolded. Ira was on there. Hell, he was called a cheater at one point, then ended up being one of the best goddamn players in the world, regardless of what anybody says. And they've just been on the up. They've been on the rebound. They're doing a lot more refined things. They're working more as a unit as opposed to, I mean, don't get me wrong, now and again, full send and just DA it does work for them.
Why not?
Their strategy they can actually fully, if they commit to it, then they know as a unit that that's their strength and their confidence. And other people, sometimes their asses just fall out because they don't expect it. DA will just do DA things. And if you're not ready for it, then it will work every single time. But the addition of Code Marco has just added that extra level of firepower. But I think now with refinement coming through as well, with discipline is the best way to describe this. All that is starting to build up to what is substantially a very, very strong team.
So, and to lean into that, I mean, we talk about what kind of happens, and if any early kills come in, of course, we'll highlight that too. But for now, I just want to kind of lean into it. Adding Code Marco is a huge firepower upgrade, in my opinion. Bear in mind, when Iroh left, they lost out on a big chunk of that firepower. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's seen how good he is individually. Code Marco constantly impressed us as an individual. Now, there's no discredit to the team he was with, but you saw him being a standout. It was like, okay, this guy's got some talent here. So you throw that into the mix of what DA can do, that does add that little bit of quite a spicy element. Now, looking at the circle, hitting nice towards the south, we do at least get the potential that I will always look at of, do we get Los Higos? Probably not. Probably not. But, a girl can but dream. Beyond that, though, nothing really standing out to me. I do want to look at the likes of kind of TSM coming into the circle. They'll have a great deal of teams around them, as per usual. I mean, they drop Hacienda. I think we know that when it goes well at the start for them, they can get late game, but sometimes they have lost those early players. Beyond that, hearing the likes of FaZe still doing well sits nicely with me. Seeing them be able to prove, like, we'll have that one big day we pop off just to send a message, and all the other times, we'll cruise it. So now we get to at least see that final form of FaZe.
That's what we're expecting. That's what we're hoping. And as James touching it on the desk, there is a potential with this one within Europe that we do see somebody claim victory twice within PCS. Now, it's not going to be easy because at the moment teams are looking so damn good. It's always, and I kind of said this in the write-up with PUBG about a week ago, the one thing you have to be aware of is there's only so much that we can take from a group stage, right? We can look at it, we can assess it, we can see who's doing good, doing bad, but honestly, it doesn't paint the full picture. I mean, we've seen Tornado Energy cruise and just scrape the barrel of 15th to then move on to becoming top 3 and doing just phenomenal work. Na'Vi is the outstander here for me, and the outlier when it comes to group stages and so on and so forth. Oh, we're going to pause? Yes, we are, because Ivus, we'll come back to the Na'Vi-esque comments in a second. Ivus, I don't believe, realizes that Senya is here. Scar on Scar action. Senya goes into the corner and pauses. Clearly heard the vehicle arriving, so now he doesn't want to give anywhere audible cues that his presence is here. But I'm wondering if it's already been noted, because Ivus is standing fully still.
I feel as though we'll find out soon if the full intentions have been read or not. I think Ivus is, deer in the headlights right now, trying to not make too much of a sound. Senya seems all but aware that there is a high possibility, and bear in mind the rest of Redline, they're coming over. Senya's now being isolated, Orange is left, so this is kind of turned from Ivus being into a bad spot to the other side. Senya could be in trouble with this, as Nailup is pretty close by.
I was wondering at first if they were putting the vehicles low to try and bait out the players, but instantly on both sides there is movement, and now the confirmation of the breach will come in. Hit the building, see what you can do. Senya battens down the hatches because there's 2 players coming his way, and unfortunately a 2 versus 1. It's all said and done. Senya, less than 5 minutes into the game, is eliminated. I'll just quickly roll back and finish off what we were talking about in the initial topic on the group stages. Yes, you can't really do too much and take too much from it. There was a fair bit of memery going on in some of the group stages, pulling out the SMGs, playing off meta, maybe trying new things. But Na'Vi was the one team that through all of this just does not mess around. It's business as usual. It's business always. And that's why they came
Oh.
top of the table. Like by 40, almost 40. Oh no, I've only just realized what happened there. Oh no. Oh no,
Sorry, what
we're
was
trying
that?
to big up
No,
Na'Vi here and
was
everything's just
furious.
going wrong. Yeah.
Oh dear, right. Okay, let's look across the board then. Another team,
Oof.
normally towards the top, you're looking at Liquid, and they're getting absolutely backhanded. Ibby's now in all kinds of trouble. The Pink Ponies, what a name. My word. Let's see if they can do it all. James is in trouble. If one nade dribbles down that hillside, dead and buried. Well, didn't quite dribble down the hillside, but it did do a fair whack of damage. James just going to be staying here, trying to stay alive. Clib's already been flushed. This is a bit of a disaster for some of the more renowned teams here.
Yeah, they're having a bit of a rough time, bit of a rough kickoff, to be honest with you. They will be able to pull this one back. At least Ibiza should be able to survive this one. The Pink Ponies did come into this, I believe it was in 16th place, so they only just scraped through. They knocked out Raise Your Edge of all teams to knock into 17th position to be able to make themselves and solidify a spot in the grand final. So deserving as ever, and it's always nice to see new names and new teams. Not necessarily on the come up, but
Absolutely.
certainly do well. It's not the... You can have wildcards that just pull it through because we know what happens in PUBG. And any given Sunday, you can just have an absolutely belting day that goes your way with the circles and everything else. But still, to be able to make it out of a 2014 group stage, it does... We have such a big group stage to show consistency, right? And to be able to make it to a grand finals, I'll always say this, every team is deserving of their spot. So congrats to the Pink Boys. It's whether or not they are going to be able to stand up to the test of this level of lobby, because there is some insane teams, and this is the best that Europe has to produce.
Yeah, and honestly, for the state of PUBG and for the sake of, let's say, the competitive scene, seeing new teams coming in is excellent. That is exactly what you want. It proves that there is, beyond just that top tier cusp, you get a lot of competitive teams, and I think we know that now. If all of you, I see a lot of familiar faces in chat, on Twitter constantly, checking in, keeping up with the scene. You guys know that the scene has some depth to it. It's one of the brilliant things of PUBG, but to see it bleed into this makes so much sense. So it looks like a bit of a north-south divide so far, and where teams are kind of deciding to head towards. Some around the more, I guess, west side of Los Leones, some mostly on the coastal side, kind of that red line, Na'Vi, FaZe, Omakan area, and just a reminder of the car boop. Feels pretty bad for Na'Vi. Pretty rough start, all said and done.
I think the fish just says, yeah.
It does,
Eyes
doesn't
to
it?
the sky, just think, oh well, it is what it is. We'll just carry on.
Yeah.
I think we kind of call it time and time again, but I feel at some point, well, it always happens at PUBG that we end up repeating ourselves, but I still have faith in the players and members that are left on that roster, regardless of what you say. Like Tab and Besto
They can make something
still
out of
pull a
it.
top 10
Yep.
finish all day long.
Yeah, they're one of the teams that I feel like no matter what scenario you present them with, they'll find a silver lining. Be it, okay, we play it late, we just try and sit for positioning, late circle. They'll find a way to work something out. I would say they are in quite a precarious position, especially with WS coming down on this coast. If they continue this eastern lean and they continue along their bottom coastline, they will eventually kind of pinch Na'Vi in to kind of maybe force a little bit more trouble with Redline, but that's a possibility. It's not a confirmation. Now, as we can see, the boys heading on through. They are way over towards the western side, coming on in. They're just behind Tornado Energy, and it's very strange to see James not hyping up his boys. He's joined me in the DA camp. I don't know how to feel.
I think consistency has not been with Tornado Energy whatsoever. Like, they have been having a rough time. They went to the highest of highs and then dropped down to the lowest of lows, and unfortunately, they've just bottomed out. Like, that plateau, they've not been able to get over that hump, and we talk about teams now and again and the mental gymnastics that will go through them. When you are in a tough spot, it's how you dig yourself out of that hole. And I'm going to be honest, that's a bigger topic that I want to kind of save for the Northern Lights, and that's what I want to see from this event. The Northern Lights, again, it's too... I don't want to sit here and say, yeah, they came second in group stage, yeah, they're going to win everything because of everything else that was going on. People were memeing, people were having a bit of a relaxing time and taking it easy. But I want to see something special from Northern Lights. There is all the skills to pay the bills in the world on that roster. For Tornado Energy, I mean, if they turn it around and do well, hell yeah, great. We've seen fantastic things from them. But I just feel like they're stuck in this hole. They can't claw the way out. And Northern Lights is more of the team that has the ability to do that, in my opinion. But we'll see with this competition. If both teams go down head first and stay down, I really don't see them coming back up. Like, I just think maybe it's leadership, maybe it's discipline. I don't know, but I really struggle to see on that team who can grab the players and just pull them out of the earth when it's when things are going bad.
Yeah, no, I think we'll find out if there is that answer, because a couple of bad events you can kind of write off, but it is a matter of consistency. It's why we put certain teams on a higher plateau. It's why we'll always give the likes of, your Liquid, FaZe, your Navis, a little bit more time and a little bit more kind of, well, let's wait and see, because we have seen them do it. We have seen that bounce back, and that takes a lot of work. That's not an easy thing to achieve. So again, that's neither here nor there for now. We do see the circle heading back up towards the more northern lean. And that was kind of I wouldn't say a 50-50, but it was a divide. Some opted for the south, and this means the northern teams do get to maintain position. So people like DA, Bystanders, TSM, Northern Lights, pretty happy. Probably the happiest four there could be. They sit in the most primed positions. That infamous road that leads out of Los Leones, treacherous as ever. The highwaymen on the way. But beyond that, Shift W. Always love the fact that we still see them kind of in that northwest spot around Los Leones. Something that, roll your minds back to, you've seen that for a long time coming. Very, very accomplished within that area. So plenty of danger. The western side now of the circle, on the very cusp of it, is going to get pretty treacherous as well. You've now got a lot of the teams who are stuck in the south taking that longer route, but there's already teams out there playing that edge game, playing quite slowly around it. Another strong position, though. This church is a wild one. Look at the high ground you have to operate with all across that eastern lean that's just off the screen for now, but it's where DA, TSM, and Bystanders currently are. So you will see a lot of, posturing shots, a couple of pot shots coming out that will definitely do some damage if they do land.
A circle like this is extremely difficult to predict where it's going to go to. I mean, at the best of times anywhere, but with something like this, when you look at it, you can just stick your finger on your screen and pick anywhere, because it's such a large area where we see circles ending. The problem being with that is that there's very limited amount of movement, so I'd expect to see quite a lot of teams on the next circle at least maybe stay towards the edge. You don't want to go dive bombing into the center, in case someone's there. The large fields will just allow teams to mow you down before arriving. If you do arrive, they're just going to lowball grenades at you and basically be prepared for your arrival. That's the one really bad part of these circles, something like this in an area. All these buildings, all these compounds that you're going to be trying to fight for on the next circle are very wide open areas. Nade comes down, kill's finished before it lands. Bye-bye Squeaky. Gypsy and Vasco pick up a point between them. With it going more towards the Picado side, it does leave that little bit of a crossroad in. There's still, like, for me, when I look at this, the south side of the circle is a hot zone. Where DA is, between them and Bystanders, we see circles every single day of the week. Up towards Picado, it becomes a little bit more harder. In the north, there's a lot more open area of where circles could be heading. You may see Shift W try and just kind of tuck themselves into that little barnyard where Brexco may be, which gives them a good overview, really, of what's going on in front of them. But again, the deeper we go towards, or the further we go to them, the deeper we go towards the center, the harder it is to really find a good place to stay. At the moment, for everyone in the south, I'd feel a lot more comfortable sitting there and waiting this one out.
I guess it's that, what do you want to plan on? You hope that it stays south, because if it moves north and you're in the south, that cross is potentially death. I think TSM will be loving this. Same with Northern Lights, because they've already got a very early 2-2, unless they get crashed. Bit of a touch of contact here. Example, one of those individuals that certainly has a reputation to not be messed with, but a nade could put him down either way. Just through the gap. Gonna post that one. Does manage to find a touch of damage, but doesn't take them down. Now, with Quizzy joining in, WS gonna be put on notice, and look how isolated Maxi is here. Now, that's a bit of a problem. If they get an off angle, he is stuck. And speaking of problems, Jeems just went down, and so did Ibby. Liquid looked like they could be first out here.
Going down. Comes down to Mexi to try and hold the line. He's got plenty of players and so many multiple fronts, though, and you are correct in stating it. Unfortunately for Liquid, we see the number 16 quite often, but again, it's not a full telltale sign of how this competition's going to go. We've seen them rebound and bounce back from worse things, to be honest with you. They've been in 16th before. They should know how to deal with it. They are one of those teams that can just kind of brush it off and crack on. Maxi is creeping. Nade goes in. Would expect damage to be done in such a small area. It's whether or not he realizes he's tucked himself into the corner. He'd have to definitely hear the first aid going off, so he knows that his presence is still there. With the sound of the grenades cracking in the distance, though, it depends how much information Tornado Energy actually have. T-Bone opts to switch to the Mini, as he's actually got shots. The worrying thing here for T-Bone is that was from a different team altogether. That's a very open side on his right.
You're right, and that's what I want to highlight here. keep in mind that they're going to have 2 fights on 2 fronts, and they're very split apart. Now, Paige is going to keep eyes on Ents. If they come through, they'll probably call that out. And then you're going to have T-Bone dealing with the other team on the other side. Now, back to the fight we were kind of looking at before, but a third party's joined in, and this is Na'Vi. Now, keep in mind, Na'Vi took an absolute battering at the start. We saw that Senua was lost and Orange then kind of got caught on the way down, but Besto's still finding value. This is why we like to watch Na'Vi in these scenarios, because they can always still do damage. And maybe they could capitalize a little bit on this scrap going on, because Tornado Energy just got Melman being knocked. So they've got 3 up and standing, able to still take a fight, and it's a worthwhile fight. They don't need to move, they just need to be careful, because you know there's going to be a clear coming soon. People might crash this, so you've got to be very cautious. Keep yourself on a swivel here. WS are in danger. They're down to 2. 2 of their players being flushed. Maxi and Offstring leaves Kemba and the Wanderer kind of back to the wall. They've lost the ability to take a proactive fight, and they know that there's a third party watching their side, so even less angles to operate with as Na'Vi kind of snaking around trying to find new angles to be a bigger threat with. FaZe just did lose out on Fuzzface, but they still have the 3 remaining, but the problem is they're stuck in the south, and we already noted that run to the north is absolutely disastrous at times. They're in their own fight. They've got their own troubles, and a bit of a trouble here for Smash potentially, but I feel as though, no, he pulls up on this. That is bold, and Yellow wants to get involved. Beamy's already found one. DA on the pull-up, though. Let's see if they can do this better than maybe expected. 2 down for the bystanders, but you can see DA losing. Numbers losing. Players, and now just Smash stands. You're looking at now the dregs of the team being left. You got Hjort and Smash. The others strewn across the ground. They can't do much. Maybe Flanny can have a quick revive here, though. If he gets back up, that's another player to play with. Maybe a little bit of help there for the bystanders. A very valuable compound to work towards. This is where TSM were 2-2 splitting, but they realized that's too high priority to do that with. So they've instantly lent towards the north, given up that southern divide, but now Tornado Energy on the push. They know that it's just the Wanderer left. A quick flush towards Kemba creates safety in the compound as the Wanderer's left to run. He is in no man's land. You've got Besto on one side, and now Alia wants to get rid of him. He wants this done, but he doesn't want to overstep. So again, if they push out from here, they become vulnerable themselves. So they may opt to just stick where they are, control the compound, and let the Wanderer leave into the distance.
Now, there's 2 things I want to touch on briefly. It's going to be hard given how much action's about to kind of kick off. For this fight that's going down now, the one team that benefits most is TSM. Not only is everyone else just eliminating themselves and essentially just dying before they even arrive at TSM's position. All the shots that do come down from the distance, and there is 2 teams in the distance shooting towards this, they get all that info. Now, Ira going down, it's not a big problem in theory because he should be revivable inside the building, but they are gathering so much information now. They are making note of maybe 5, 6 different teams' locations, and they're just preparing for them all to move across the road. Eventually, when they do, this should give them free points, give them free kills, and it should be not necessarily a GG, but certainly for this side of the circle, they will be able to dominate. Now, on the opposing side, the fight that you saw go down between WS and Tornado Energy, that was a very important fight for Tornado Energy to win. Because of the circle moving towards the north, that encapsulates all the teams that are going to be working around them. It's the perfect position that they want to be in. Tornado Energy taking control of that gives them such a grapple now, a massive grasp on the northern side of the circle. And there's so much room around it. We'll move to a different fight. This is a third one. Omicron have pulled in. The pink ponies, they have to be ready for this. All the nades and utilities is going up. It's only flashbangs for now. It is a bit of a warning. With the flashbangs, you need to be ready to encompass and use on that. Push in when the arms are up in the air and they've no idea what's going on. But it also just annoys them. It disperses them and allows AIM to get up close and personal with the mollies. Push them out the back, burn them, do damage, and let the rest of the team join you and maybe flush them out.
Yeah, I do want to see how Oma can try and play this, and I guess getting a pick on a team that isn't the one in front of you is not the way you'd want it to start, but you'll take that regardless. Na'Vi holding on to very fine margins. Tornado Energy continued their push. They left the vast majority of the compound, leaving it just to Melman as their safety, as their fallback, and they want to get rid of Na'Vi. And that's probably a good idea, but easier said than done, but Tab has fallen, so it is just Besto there now, and Tornado Energy will continue their sweep. The Sauna boys, they're down and out. That's going to be 15th for them. And we now look at the new circle. Northern Lights shifted away from that church. They were currently up where Redline were. They moved into a better position. They've hedged their bets, and it's paid dividends. Them and TSM, happy. Etiquette, happy. Omicron now need to clear this, but look who's in the smoke right next to them. This could be a problem. They have no idea. And it's who sees who first as T-Bone who wins the fight. So a quick clear on that. T-Bone up towards the wall. Walking through this systematically, but now a push on the other side. Chris is now turned up. Kiliakai's not far off, and now do they know this? Do they have an idea? They've got to. The kill feed's going to display it. T-Bone knows there's more here to deal with, and now they swept through one, but they've got to know there's more. On that hillside, there's going to be danger. Rexco and Kiliakai both now have to be careful. Do you really want to go through this? Do you want to push into the unknown? You've already lost out on Chris now. Do you dare go for more?
can't believe how crushed the pony's got from two different sides, two different teams move. That's a chasing nade. If that lands, good God, that was close. It follows him, and he has to run. Get away from this one, Brexco, with no health whatsoever. That'll be an easy kill if one more shot comes through. Zocker's there to receive him. They do have the vehicle, and getting inside suggests that they're going to be on the move. Circle's on their back, and they are forced to move back down south, actually. This position was good for all but a moment, and give them some time, but they did, I believe, lose a player in that last engagement. I certainly saw Chris without much health. Regardless, they'll take the hillside. Besto in the distance. Is that a bike? It is. His position will definitely be noted. It makes a lot of noise. Between a rock and a hard place with Tornado Energy in the distance as well. They'll get a quick view onto this one. Gustav, I was about to say, FaZe are going to have a team up against the wall with Marv going down. That gives them the man advantage at least, and probably leaves one or two. QBE, teammate up on the hillside. I can see him. They're going to have to fight this one through. FaZe will not like to let Ivers get some height advantage. If they can deal with Redline quick, it would be fun, it would be good. Besto has to deal with Shift W, take one kill before going down. That's as good as you're going to get. Thank you very much. We'll take it. Tornado Energy move on to Shift W. The rest of them as they begin to run the gauntlet. Find whatever you can, boys. There's very little to work with. A dip, a divot, a ditch, whatever. Every single team is hunkered down and ready to receive.
Oh, they've made it somewhere into some cover. It depends. Does anyone have line of sight on it? Tornado Energy, maybe. I don't think ETG have enough high ground. I think Shift W, I'm not going to say they're going to be good, but they should be able to live, which is, I guess, the main part here for them. Now, we look at the teams on the outskirts. Everyone currently, excluding some part of Tornado Energy, have just shuffled in. So, again, Northern Lights, if you wanted an opportunity for them to show what they've got, this is the perfect time for it. This is exactly the sort of circle they should be able to play this very well with. They have everyone standing. Batulin's at the helm, should be able to do very well with this. Call this almost perfectly. They should have a great idea of the lay of the land as well. Win streak did go down, so that's going to be them eliminated for now. TSM going to keep themselves very much present in this. And that south side, they are being very diligent with ensuring that no one slips in. That roadside, that little kind of T-junction is going to be so hard to cross. That is going to be so difficult to get through. And every team knows this. Your Redline, your FaZe, DA, bystanders, well aware that that could be the next death of them. So with 10 seconds to go until the circle moves, that's going to be the biggest challenge now.
Seeing something I haven't seen for a while. Or maybe we saw it through group stage, but this is reminiscent of how Northern Lights likes to play. They've been quite quiet throughout all of this, but right now they have the best position on the map. They have the largest compound, they have the largest amount of land, and most importantly, they have ample opportunity to kill everybody on arrival. Diggory as well in the kill feed, you can see he does take down 2 players on the side of Omicron, so at least keeping his team ends in this race for now. Gustav onto QB is a good initial start. 1-2,
Nice.
Thank you. The Danish man will clutch up the 2 versus 1. Yes, he did have his team out on his backside, but at least been able to keep them allows them now to move. But again, you do have this back-building beast in the distance. Northern Lights, who are just looking towards this. The second phase just unrevealed themselves from the shadows. They should be dead, but I think they just have a very slight defilade going their way, which they can tuck themselves into.
Okay, little pre-nade comes out. Bystanders, it's an unorthodox pull-up, but you know what? They've made it. Now, whether or not they live beyond this, yeah, not gonna happen. I liked it. I liked the style. I liked the approach. The landing a little skewed. 7 out of 10. Northern Lights, though, finally get some attention thrown their way, but it's not exactly that intimidating. Yes, 8C normally any other day of the week with Gustav, I'd give him a bit more credit, but 8C's burning alive, if I'm not mistaken. Down to 10 HP, the fire not too far away. And goes for a little lean, a little bit of a look. He might spot Spyro. Goes for a shot on it. Nice damage, but more posturing than anything, and 8C's in trouble. Flashed up, blinded. It feels like a matter of time. Shift W's been found. He's making a good go of this, is old 8C, but too many angles, too many threats, too many players, and Northern Lights maintain the compound and keep 4 alive.
Tries to wiggle and find an avenue of approach, or at least try and single them out, but the Northern Lights shut it down with that many men on the battlefield. They should be doing that as well. I've been disappointed if they would have lost anyone to White Sim. It shouldn't be happening. You need to keep as many as you can at this point. You have the perfect compound for it. Circle will update. Does it keep Northern Lights in? Does it force them out? My God, it does. It magnetizes straight towards them. TSM goes for a 2-2 split. You know what? It damn well pays off. Iron Vard could deal with T-Bone and then reroute back to their teammates. And we'd have a 4 versus 4 scenario actually inside the circle. Now, the problem is for everyone else, ETG, Tornado Energy, They have to get in. The question is, how many teammates, or how many players, should I say is a better word, will Northern Lights and TSM lose by doing so? If we're thinking ahead and we're saying, okay, this is going to be the final fight between those two teams, how many can you keep alive to be able to fortify?
Exactly.
How many can you send at the final battlefield when you've got Smash? And we know, Lauren, that DA can be a royal pain in the ass. Smash specifically for ruining teams' dreams.
Okay, so let's explain these fights. So it's Northern Lights towards Tornado Energy. That's towards the west. Now, towards the east, you got TSM and ETG. Throw a little Omicron in there, throw a little DA in there, but that's your main fight. Now, keep your eyes on, do they lose players? Do they use utility? Now, TSM just had Vard flush. That's a problem. So now TSM operating with less, but they went for a 2-2 split. They wanted to ensure control on that further eastern side, but it's cost them, of course. Now, ETG have actually snuck a little further forward, but they have gone across the road. So that adds another problem towards Northern Lights' plate. Maybe a little bit more towards Tornado Energy's plate, but out in the open is Fex, and that's a dangerous position to be in, and instantly taken out of things by Alia. Great work from him, making this costly to all the teams that are just trying to get towards that end, trying to keep those 4 players alive. And right now, Northern Lights maintains the crown on this. They'll be able to go into those final moments with 4 standing if it keeps going this way.
Well, somehow they've missed the mark when it came to the mollies.
Quizzy's there.
TG will stay alive. Quizzy comes up close and personal. Perfectix instantly shuts it down. With the smokes going out, they'll try and hide themselves a little bit further. But again, we spoke about it. The Beast from the East, the team that will always backbuild. And then when the storm lands, it strikes hard. We move into our top 4. 1 player alive from DA Smash, but we're not going to take anything away from it at this point. ETG also down to 1. They're eliminated and gone. Now it comes down to TSM basically versus Northern Lights. Or whatever DA can do. Can they formulate something? Can they maybe steal second away from it? As you talked about earlier on, they used the 2-2 split, Lauren, for TSM. They did commit to clearing out their backside, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yep.
But it cost them, and it cost them a very crucial and vital player. I mean, at this stage, we can talk about how good individual players are, but honestly, in a scenario like this, where it's a 4 versus 4, manpower counts.
Now, I do want to highlight, though, I did see some utility left on TSM, so they have at least a way forward. Now, I don't know if Northern Lights have a similar scenario. I don't think they've been pushed too hard. FaZe got to the door, but that was about it. Now, Smash is playing for the, I don't know, the third man to the party, right? You don't want to turn up too early. You don't want to have to help setting up the party. He wants to turn up just as the music's getting going. He wants to get the aux cable. But for now, Northern Lights, yes, plenty of utility, at least with Batulins. The most forward player right now for Northern Lights as well. He wants to be the kind of spear tip to this. Keep the contact towards him. Leave the rest to keep Overwatch, keep Vision alive. Now for TSM, what is their plan? They have a vehicle. I see Iroh towards one. They have plenty of vehicles. Okay, this could be their plan. They've got to come up with something. You can't just limp across that road. It might be the full send towards one of the more extremity-based buildings, and that looks like the plan. And do they make it across the road in time? All attention is drawn. If Smash wants to move, now is the time. Fire comes into TSM, make it alive. You see the cars pulling through, a couple of tags here and there, but no one goes down. First one to fall is Fex. That's already going to go towards Northern Lights. Iroh desperate to try and pull up, but already so much damage being thrown at him. Miraku's made it, but at what cost? Already down low, has to instantly take a fight. You can see Northern Lights are rabid. They want to get involved instantly. Quick heal though, they've got time for it, they feel. That could be a bit of a mistake, but no. Miraku has taken his time. Fex crawling forward. You can see all of Northern Lights now coming across. Fex looks dead in the water. I don't think he's savable. He's not. Good nade though, as that's going to keep at least some the Northern Lights back, but this is close quarters combat. This is right up in your face, and now Iroh's gone. This is looking dangerous. You still have Smash alive in this, keep in mind, and he's the furthest away from this, but he's keeping quiet, and 5 seconds until this moves forward. This is divided by the elevation, by that verticality. You're going to have the likes of Perfectix, Batulins, everyone's here. Maruku's found one, but there's a quick exchange. TSM are gone, and DA have snuck into second place. Smash has played this so perfectly. He let all that contact go the other way, and Northern Lights, well, we wanted to see them do well, and this is a perfect example of a Northern Lights style game. But can Smash do anything about this? I'm not sure if he can. A couple of bits and pieces of meds left, yes, but so many of the Northern Lights against him, 4 to be precise, and they were exactly where he's at. This looks like it's wrapped up unless Smash can do something outstanding, something almost unseen. Barrel at his side, smokes, mollies. But speaking of mollies, the floor's on fire. Perfectix is at the door. This looks like Northern Lights have him dead to rights. The flash comes in. He chooses the fire rather than the gunfire to come through, and Smash is burning alive. Batulin's a kind man to put him out of the misery as Northern Lights. 8 kills, first place. Excellent closeout for them.